Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin 2. Now, what really happened in this fight? This is a pretty technical back and forth fight where you saw Canelo winning most of the early rounds, and then you saw Triple G winning the late rounds, and the mid rounds were kind of close, right? Now, I want to say off the bat, I don't think there was a robbery in this fight. I know a lot of you guys thought there was a robbery. I don't think there was, but I did have Triple G winning the fight. If you said Canelo won by a couple rounds, I can understand that. If you say Triple G won by a couple rounds or even more, I can understand that as well. But what actually happened in this fight? And to be honest, a bunch of the things in the fight, most things about the fight were very straightforward. The techniques they used, the approaches they used, everything from their skill set was pretty straightforward. The main story of the fight were jabs. The jab of Triple G was landing a lot more than the jab of Canelo. Canelo's jab was more of a counter. Triple G, although he wasn't the aggressor in the fight, which was kind of shocking, and there's a reason for that, Triple G was initiating the jabbing exchanges, and he was winning those exchanges. His jab is so precise, and it's really fast. It's very snappy, although there were some telegraphs. If Triple G ever gave any telegraph on his jab, such as one point in the second round where he dropped his lead hand and then threw it forward, just him dropping his hand a little bit to throw out his jab was enough for Canelo to react to it. He was able to slip on the inside of it, land an uppercut to the body, a right hand over the top. Canelo's counters are beautiful to watch. And even his jabs didn't normally come from initiating sequences. His was more to counter, right? If he got jabbed at, he would jab back. So that was the main story of the fight, and also the pressure. Who was pressuring who, and how was that happening? In the first fight, Triple G was pressuring Canelo almost the entire fight. And he does that to almost everybody he ever fights. This is probably the first time, or one of the first times, Triple G, throughout the duration of the entire fight, was not the one that was pressuring the most. He was getting pressured more in this one, and it was really because of one thing. The way they reacted to jabs. Canelo was leaning back, pulling on jabs, slipping on jabs. He didn't use a lot of footwork. The fact that he doesn't have the fastest footwork, and he's not light on his feet usually, it kind of gave him an advantage in this one in terms of pressure, right? He's always going to be in the pocket. A few times he will have to move back when Triple G doubles up on his jab or tries to land some combination, forcing him to move back. But other than that, Canelo was just pulling in space, planted himself there, and then he went to return on Triple G. Triple G's reaction to the jabs were to move his feet rather than head movement, which is also a reason why he got hit by some power shots from Canelo, because he moves his feet, he doesn't move his head, and Canelo's able to follow up on his jabs and land these power shots as Triple G doesn't move his head. So he kind of tracks him down from his jab when Triple G moves his feet and then seeks out his power shots. That is the main reason why Triple G was getting pressured in this one. But it's also a reason why Canelo was getting hit by some of those jabs. When he's trying to lean away and dodge these jabs, they're pretty hard to dodge because of how fast they're coming. He would just get hit by them. Slipping on jabs that are coming that often is going to be a pretty hard task. You're not going to be able to slip on all of them, dodge every single fast jab like that. And from this pocket approach from Canelo that he does usually take in fights, but it is in contrast to his last approach in his first fight with Triple G. Not only was it to benefit him technically and exploit some of Triple G's weaknesses and to back him up and all that sort of stuff, put Triple G at a natural disadvantage. But I believe the backlash from the fans and from other fighters and other experts involved about him not fighting like a Mexican in the first fight. He didn't come in with that quote-unquote Mexican style in the first fight with Triple G, kind of got to him psychologically. I think that was another thing as well, because as we all saw in the first fight, he was using a lot more footwork and was looking to evade a lot of Triple G's punches and look to counter, and that's pretty much it. And then he changed his attacks. Canelo started targeting the body a lot on Triple G, a little bit in the fifth round as well. But especially in that sixth round, he was throwing that left hook to the body off a counter. And what he noticed from Triple G, and I think a lot of people miss this, he's usually blocking his body pretty well. He has his arms covering his body with his natural stance, but when he throws a jab, he lifts that right arm up and exposes his body. All right, now let's look at some of the sequences of the fight here. Now we're going to look right here where Triple G, as I said before, whenever he threw the jab, he lifted his right arm up, exposing his body. And that's what Canelo saw. This is his biggest capitalization on that opening of Triple G. So Canelo picks his hands up as he sees Triple G starts leaning on his front leg, which usually tells that he's going to throw his lead punch. And Triple G drops his left hand as he goes and throws the jab. That was enough for Canelo to react to it accurately. Canelo's speed is insane, especially at middleweight. He was enough to just slip that jab on the inside, get right to the body of Triple G, cocks back his left arm, and look, nothing defending his right side. He's very confident he can get in on Triple G fast enough. He is confident in his speed advantage over Triple G, and he lands a left uppercut to the body, and this was a clean body shot. Folds up Triple G a little bit. You can see it really hurt him. As usual, when you land a body shot, it usually opens up the head because you naturally, instinctively go to cover up your body. That's what Triple G does. Opens up his head. Canelo's speed advantage here again. Able to land an overhand right clean on Triple G again. Excellent by Canelo here. And right here we're able to see exactly how fast Canelo is. He's able to make a mistake defensively and then fix it on the dime. So what we see here is Canelo's engaging Triple G again. You see him check the lead hand of Triple G, taps it with his right hand, and gets the reaction on Triple G to throw it. Triple G throws that jab inside the guard of Canelo. Canelo is able to parry it, but he parries it a little bit late. But ultimately, this allows Canelo to march in a little bit more in close on Triple G behind the retraction of that jab, which leads to Triple G to throw an uppercut in close. And Canelo again parries it. He's getting the timing of Triple G here with that lead hand because everything is coming through the center. Up the center with the uppercut or down the center with the jab. Then Triple G comes in on him again and throws the left. And Canelo goes to parry a jab again. He thinks it's going to be a jab, and this is very smart from Triple G here. He saw what Canelo was doing, what he was looking for, and he wanted to test Canelo's defense here if he would do it again. By faking like he was going to throw a jab. Look at the very slight feint by Triple G here. Look at his natural stance. Arm is kind of loose. You know, it's more sideways than it is tucked into his body. Then he makes a sudden movement, tucks in his elbow a little bit closer and shows the fist at Canelo. And Canelo takes the bait, right? So Triple G tries to come around it with the left hook. As you can see with his right arm, flares it out as he usually does to expose his body. And Canelo made a big mistake here. But look how fast Canelo actually is. And mind you, Canelo moved his head in closer on Triple G. But he is able, even after making the mistake of thinking it was going to be a jab and went to parry it, his right hand got eliminated completely from defending this left hook. Because of this mistake, his head movement is still there. His reflexes are still that fast to be able to dodge back on the left hook, as well as move his head with the punch. It just misses him. He's able to use two defensive techniques inside of one punch from Triple G and completely avoid the punch. That is some speed from Canelo. And this ultimately allowed him to stay in the pocket with Triple G. Triple G likes to use space a lot more. He likes to use his reach a lot more. And then we move here, where you see Triple G getting heavily pressured to the ropes, almost gets on the ropes. That's pretty crazy to see. And he's looking for his openings on Canelo. So he just throws a very light jab in Canelo's face, sees Canelo's movements, his reactions to it, and Canelo moves his head on the outside of it very slightly and then moves his head down. This is what Triple G wanted to see. So he goes down with Canelo to drive an uppercut. Catches Canelo right through the gloves. Triple G is getting a lot better at precisely landing these shots on the inside of the guard of Canelo. Pops his head up, and this is where Canelo wants to explode back because Canelo wants these kind of exchanges in close where he can start using his speed, using his head movement, and try to land some of these big shots on Triple G. So he goes and throws his own uppercut and completely throws away his guard. Just misses the uppercut and goes to the body as Triple G, what he was doing in the first fight, and he did a lot in this fight, where he likes to really cover up his chin. Almost like a peekaboo style. Both hands in front of his face. Around the elbows, you can find his ribs. So he picks his hands up, gets in close on Canelo. Canelo goes to the body, sees the opening, and once he lands to the body, Triple G then goes to cover up that side. Natural instinct. You get hit to the body, you want to cover it up. And I'm very surprised Canelo tried to go to it again. It's not the first time Triple G went to cover up his body after getting hit there, right? So Canelo going for it again, it's a little bit surprising he went for that. But Triple G is easily able to defend it because when you go to the body, Mike Tyson was the master of this, right? When you go to the body, you open up the head. That's how he got most of his knockouts because the brain can't focus on those two things at once. Right? It's what you embrace for. If you don't embrace for the impact, it's going to be that much more powerful. So he went to the body, he opened up Triple G's head, and if he went for the uppercut to the head, or even used his right hand to land on the head of Triple G, it would have been a lot more damaging. But he went for the body again, the same side with the same punch, got defended. And that is where Canelo made his mistake. He went for a hard body shot again, and the fact that it got deflected off the arm of Triple G, it had more range to go through, which leaves a bigger opening for a longer time for Triple G to counter Canelo. So what does Triple G go for? For that check left hook right on Canelo, as Canelo's punch goes way out to the audience and lands hard. This is one of the biggest punches from Triple G. And Triple G then uses the jab to create distance, get it where he's the most comfortable with range. And here I want to demonstrate the speed difference between these two again. Now what you see here is Triple G goes forward and just throws out his right straight. Not too much power into it. Sees the opening on Canelo as Canelo has his hands down and he's confident at this range he has enough reach to really dig in with a very quick straight right. But Canelo's able to land his own counter right straight on Triple G just as effectively, but it kind of grazes him. This had a little bit more power than Triple G's did, just because he committed with it a lot more. And then Triple G tries to counter him with his left hook, and Canelo's able to pull back on the hook. This is a speed difference between these two. Canelo is able to dodge the counter of Triple G after getting hit, and Triple G is not able to do the same, right? Canelo gets hit, then he counters Triple G, and then he avoids Triple G's counter. Or if you look at the other point of view, Triple G hits Canelo, gets countered by Canelo, and misses his counter. This is the obvious speed difference between these two, and it was a big factor in this fight. And then we move here. Triple G steps forward with his lead foot to throw the jab, cover a little bit of distance, and Canelo's able to effectively parry it, deflect a shot to the side, but Triple G uses that to step in even further, right? Right behind his jab, he's trying to cover a little bit more distance. So he brings forward his back foot and then steps with his lead foot as he ducks under to throw the uppercut. Canelo's able to step back with his back foot, lean away from the shot, and I believe Triple G stepped in a little bit too far. He almost like galloped forward, right? He bounced forward but brought his back foot first and then his front foot after. Almost like a horse galloping. If you've ever seen a horse gallop, their hind legs or their back legs touch the ground before their forelegs do, which are their front legs. That's kind of what Triple G does here. That's what I like to call when people do this. They're pretty much galloping. And that simple technique right there, it lengthens your time to get anything done, right? If you bring your front leg forward first and then your back leg, you're able to utilize a lot of techniques before your back leg gets to your stance. When your back leg touches first and then your front leg touches after, you have to wait until your front leg touches the ground before you can really do much. So he gets really close to Canelo because of this, and Canelo just drives up an uppercut because Triple G, he's using that peekaboo stance again, and I don't know why he does it so much, especially in the first fight. He was getting hit a lot when he did that, and he got hit a lot when he did it here. He doesn't really get too much off when he's doing that. So Canelo drives up an uppercut, and Triple G goes to frame with his forearm on Canelo. This usually means he's trying to create distance, but he's the one that closed in the distance. So this tells me he made a mistake and he kind of realized that. He got in too close on Canelo. Canelo drived an uppercut and landed a clean shot on Triple G. One of the biggest shots for Canelo in the entire fight. And then we move here, and Canelo actually goes and initiates the jab. Throws the jab as Triple G has his hands up. And Triple G, it seems like he's able to parry the shot because you see his right hand, and then you don't see it, which tells me he most likely went to parry the shot, and he did it effectively. And he goes and throws a jab after Canelo's and hits Canelo as Canelo's moving forward on Triple G, which causes a lot more impact. And Canelo goes to throw a jab again and just misses. I think the fact that he got hit by the jab, it threw off his aim a little bit. You couldn't really see where he was throwing just for that split second. Triple G's head is now on the outside of the jab, and Triple G goes and steps to the left with his left foot. He's trying to fade out to that side, and you can see him leaning that direction as well. This is a very dangerous move from Triple G, because he's leaning to his left and he stepped to his left. Look how far he stepped to the left with his left foot. He is in a lot of danger of getting caught by the right hand of Canelo if Canelo decides to go for that one, for that shot. He's moving right into it and he got in close on Canelo. So this is a game of who is going to land the right hand first, because he is moving into Canelo's right hand, but he's also moving so he can create momentum for his own right hand. And Canelo doesn't go for the right hand at all. He goes to throw another jab, even though Triple G is stepping off the center line. Canelo obviously didn't see Triple G step off far to the left. He didn't see the right hand of Triple G getting set up. Throws it right over the top and catches Canelo hard. This is probably the biggest shot of the entire fight. You can see it stuns Canelo a little bit. He went wobbly a little bit there, able to get his senses really quick. And you can see his jab. Look how his jab gets kind of flailed out there after getting hit. This is obvious that Canelo got hurt here. So Triple G naturally is going to have to bring his back leg, which is his right leg, into stance. He's going to have to follow his left leg so he gets completely off that side. And Canelo reaches really far for the right hand. This is a big mistake from Canelo. Look how far forward he's reaching over his legs, and his legs are straight. they are not even bent anymore. This, I think, is because he got hurt here, because this is very uncharacteristic for Canelo if he had all his senses there. Misses his right hand completely. Look how turned over his shoulder is, and Triple G sees the opening. This is a huge opening for him. And Triple G isn't the fastest guy, but even for a guy like him, the opening that Canelo gave him is just enough for even a guy like Triple G to get in there and land some kind of shot. And Triple G was moving back. His entire momentum was moving in one direction, that was back. So now he has to redirect that at Canelo, steps off his right foot, and throws a quick jab as now he's redirecting to his left again. Then we move here, and you see some glimpses of Floyd Mayweather and Triple G here. Canelo again initiates the jab. As we see here, when Canelo's doing this, he doesn't really win these exchanges. He's much better off waiting for Triple G and then trying to counter Triple G. So he throws a jab, and Triple G is able to pull in the punch, extend it to the maximum distance, so he can come back on the retraction of the punch and land his own counter. And that's exactly what he does. And what Canelo actually does here, he doesn't even bring the jab back. He drops it. Left the opening for Triple G completely. He lands the right hand. And look how Canelo's head just rattles in this sequence here. Triple G has some major power, man. I mean, he didn't even wind back his right hand or anything. Just shot it from his stance. Didn't look like the most powerful punch he can throw. And this rattles Canelo. Triple G's trying to throw out some jabs there, establish the distance more, and look for another shot on Canelo. He steps a little bit to his left into the right hand of Canelo again with his jab, right? He's masking in the step. Canelo sees it. Canelo's able to parry the jab very quickly, steps down, and then tries to move in on Triple G for his own right hand to intercept him. But then again, Triple G just got into the spirit of Floyd Mayweather, shoulder rolls the punch effectively. Floyd would probably counter Canelo for this, but Triple G just keeps the range again, backs off from Canelo, and resets. So that's it, guys. That's the breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed my content, make sure to subscribe. Like I said in the beginning, there wasn't too much to actually break down about this fight. Everything was very straightforward. The story of the fight were really those jabs and who was pressuring who and how that was happening. Those are the biggest things that were happening in the fight. I mean, there were a lot of jabs getting thrown here. But ultimately, in the whole scoring thing, it was very, very close. I don't think there was a robbery. But I do think logically and just plainly looking at the fight, Triple G, I think, should have won. He won some of those later rounds. I would have to go back and try to score the fight again. I only watched it once to score it, and that was live. Although I can see an argument for Canelo because you cannot deny that a lot of those rounds, if not most of them, could have went to either side. So seeing a 115, 113 for Canelo, it doesn't mean it was like a blowout, you know, because he might have just done a little bit more in some of those mid rounds, just a little bit to win them. And same goes for Triple G. But I saw a lot of people, if not most, think Triple G also won this fight. It's boxing though, you know, you can't really let it go to the judges, but in boxing, it's a lot easier for that to happen. So yeah, so my next video is going to be my podcast. It's most likely going to come out in several hours. I'm going to try to get it out by tonight. And then I'm going to come out with my prediction video for the UFC card this weekend, as well as later this week, possibly even during the weekend, I'm going to get on my Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor breakdown. So be on the lookout for that. I know that's one a lot of you guys are looking forward to. And then my official prediction video for that card, headlined by Khabib versus Conor, is going to come out on Monday. So be on the lookout for that as well. And again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.